what we've been saying at a lot of other conferences around how important it is to measure culture, and that culture now lives on short-form video, is something that resonates a lot here. Like everyone here is talking about culture, how fast culture is changing, and so the conversations have been fantastic because everyone sees the value of the data that we can provide, and particularly of the ability to watch like millions, or by now it's 1.6 billion videos that we have watched with AI.
Crazy.
To decode culture into processable data.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Ad Podcast. We're here with Pepijn van Kesteren, the CEO of Zelf, a exciting consumer insights company that looks at all videos on the internet from 21 different dimensions and helps you find out what people are actually saying and talking about your brand. Pep, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about your possible week. What's been on the agenda? How have things gone?
It's been a very interesting week. It's a different type of conference for us. First time that we're really walking into the media landscape, I would say. But it's been great because what we've been saying at a lot of other conferences around how important it is to measure culture, and that culture now lives on short-form video, is something that resonates a lot here. Like everyone here is talking about culture, how fast culture is changing. And so the conversations have been fantastic because everyone sees the value of the data that we can provide, and particularly of the ability to watch like millions, or by now it's 1.6 billion videos that we have watched with AI.
Crazy.
To decode culture into processable data.
Interesting. So I know for a long time you guys have been talking about the idea of not just using Zelf for consumer insights on the front end of the brand planning process to kind of hoover up all the information out there about how your brand is being portrayed in these social videos and videos in general, which make up like 75% of the internet at this point. But there was always this idea that that could be translated at some point to a targetable audience. How close are you guys to that goal of being able to take those insights and being able to give them to these media companies and saying, okay, here are people talking about your brand now, go find them on the internet and target them with ads?
Yeah, a great question. There's a couple of different levels to that. The one that we have now and that people are excited about, particularly the larger enterprise customers we have, is around persona definition. This is something, my background, as you know, was at McKinsey.
Yeah.
We used to take 6 weeks to define these personas, and it was more art than science. We can now see these millions of people talking about your product and categorize them into, hey, there's different user types. And these type of personas, they have different motivations, they have different pain points. You get a lot of the demographics behind it that allows you to help with the targeting. And this is something that a lot of people have found really, really interesting. Even uncovering new types of personas that they didn't realize
even existed. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's probably very helpful in this conversation around personalization, right? Where brands, they have these different segments or they have these avatars that they think they want to go after, and they break it down to like 5 different personas. But really, with your technology, like everything is nowadays is around fueling the idea of like one-to-one advertising. But really, what one-to-one means is, every piece of creative, especially with the algorithm, has the opportunity to go and find its own audience. Can you like how many personas should a brand be thinking about? 5, 10, 100, 1,000? Like what makes sense? You could probably take it to almost an unlimited, nth degree if you wanted to, right?
Yeah, we at McKinsey we used to talk about the segment of one, and so really understanding every individual person. I don't think that people are that complicated. Sorry, humanity. So we standard generate many personas. Like I think every analysis we do, we get a few hundred personas, but we group them together because that is not really workable yet for companies. And we end up usually around 6 larger personas because most of the media world, when they think personas and sort of top-level marketing, they still think in a couple of different archetypes. But you're right, like you could do this much more precise. And the beauty of video is that you can get precise because you have so much more information, right? It's not just what the person is saying about your product, but you see what other brands they're wearing, you see if they have kids running on in the background.
There's a lot of context happening in video that isn't in the closed captions, isn't in the written description. There's many elements to videos that are, have their own metadata and their own taxonomy, essentially.
And that really is, to me, the most interesting part, because a lot of the traditional listening to social is looking at captions, it's looking at comments, and they're saying like, oh, look at all the stuff that we can tell you. But with the promise of AI was initially that you can watch all these videos. The reality is that it's still very difficult to do, to build that infrastructure. And so what we've really built is what we call like vision AI for the scale of social, where anyone who wants to have videos from social analyzed, they can just plug and play into Zelf, ask whatever question they want about it. And so if you want to know exactly how many people have worn lost-in hats to Possible, and there's 1,000 people who posted about Possible, it's very easy to find that.
Wow, so you can essentially make these videos conversational in the way that other AI prompts are.
Exactly.
You can ask questions to a group of videos versus a user base or data. Essentially, it's another data source.
Exactly, and with that, a lot of opportunities arise. We have one of the large QSR brands is one of our customers. They launched a couple of new products and wanted to see how people were talking about these new products. We analyzed, I think, about 12,000 videos that were posted in the first week after, and see exactly what ranking there was for the different products, the sentiment behind it, which people talked about which products that they could all use in their planning for the coming year. So that's a cool thing. But at the same time, and you could do that by just asking that question, right? Like, what were the most popular products that people talked about? We also see this development, and you've probably seen it here at the conference of these digital twins.
Yeah, the AI digital twins or synthetic audiences.
Exactly.
Yeah, a group of people you can expose creative to questions. They're essentially lookalikes of your real audience, but you can actually engage with them. And some are showing models that are like 95% matches to focus groups inside of rooms.
Which
do you feel like it's that close?
95% sounds high. So it's I know that
maybe somebody grading their own homework on that one, on the case study that I'm thinking about. But.
So I know that the most famous one is from Simile. I think they hit about 83%.
Okay.
But the interesting thing is that if you have the same group of people that you ask the same questions 2 weeks later, they only have an 81% correlation with themselves. And so these models are really quite good.
Yeah.
The problem is you need to feed them with information.
With fresh data, because how do you talk about the future if they're not looking at the most up-to-date information?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where we are saying, we are talking to a couple of those companies now, and where we're saying like, oh, you can actually use all this video data because it's real people that are talking about the products, about how they feel about these products. Again, it's much richer data than you would get from any survey that you would put into your digital twins audience. And so because you were talking about conversing with your videos. Yes, with us you can converse with your videos, but you could also use these videos as an input to converse with audiences, not necessarily through Zelf, but there's the other cool companies doing that.
The data's there that can be implemented. Interesting. You guys famously were born out of the political world and then moved into the marketing world, but I know you guys are still active in political insights. Anything exciting that you were seeing on the horizon? Any trends or like? What do you think is, obviously the midterms, there's a lot of conversation around, like, are you seeing interesting things in the data that are actionable or pointing in certain directions from a bellwether perspective?
That is a great question. Well, I can say a couple of things. One is that I should change my profession to start investing in Polymarket, etc. Because the last 3 elections we looked at, our data was saying like, oh, it's going to be like a landslide for Mamdani, and the poll said it was going to be close. But it was a landslide for Mamdani. And then we looked at the Bangladeshi election, and our data said, oh, it's going to be a landslide for this party, and the poll said it was going to be close, and it was a landslide.
Interesting.
And so I was like, wait, I should just change change what I do for a living and take these insights and invest it.
Hedge the poly markets.
Exactly.
Not a bad idea.
But other than that, a couple of things we're looking at now is, yes, there's the midterms,
Yep.
but we're actually looking beyond that to
Interesting.
2028.
Okay.
We know there's a lot of different candidates
Yeah.
out there on both the Democratic side, on the Republican side. There's a couple independents. And we can see exactly what people like about them, what they don't like about them. And this kind of, it's the old version of Oppo research almost. It's like, oh, actually here we can
You
show
can
you
find their weaknesses ahead of time.
exactly.
Nice. And build campaigning, be ready with campaign messages around that.
And that's what we're seeing a lot of candidates actually be really interested in. Even though it's only 2026, people are starting to think about their 2028 runs.
Yeah, pretty crazy. So if folks want to, I know you guys put out a lot of really great thought leadership. You guys are always doing sector analysis and, you guys are putting out case studies of, when big brands are dropping new products, you guys don't wait around. You guys dive into the insights, publish them for both that brand and their competitors to take advantage of if they're not already clients of Zelf. So you guys do a lot of POV on sector and successful and not so successful product launches. Where can people go if they want to get access to that thinking and that reporting as you guys are putting out those insights in real time?
Yeah, that is www.hellozelf.com. That is where our main platform sort of lives. If there are people who are also interested just in the video processing capabilities, we now have zelfai.com as well, which is sort of the infrastructure layer that is powering all of these insights. And that's something that we've seen here at Possible, that a lot of these media companies are looking for that kind of infrastructure.
They want to tap into the data piece to
exactly.
power their own products.
Exactly.
Pretty cool stuff. Always good to catch up, bud.
Likewise.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.